Hey, Ernest.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, I'm good. Uh, I thought this would be kind of packed out.
It's the office hours, so it's kind of hit or miss, just depending on,
Okay.
what people's availability is and, whether or not folks have questions.
Yeah. I'm not sure I had questions because I thought it's going to be so busy. I'll be lucky to get a word in edgeways.
No, it's perfect. How you
Right.
doing?
Okay. Yeah. That's enough to think. Yeah. No, I'm good. Thank you. Yeah. I've um, I've been getting into some interesting discussions um about how things work because I mean, hopefully you've spotted that I'm a huge fan of what you're doing with Coordinate. I mean, really huge. Um, and I'm thinking to myself, let's go over to the Project Management Guild, see what they're doing. And they've hidden it behind their Kanban.
Yeah, yeah, I
And I'm
don't know.
thinking,
Yeah, it's a little hard for me
sorry,
to understand what's going on in Project Management Guild. Whoa, I think I cut out for just a second.
yes, I got you cutting out. Yes.
Okay, I think I'm back now.
Yeah, that sounds better. I'm just checking which, hang on a minute. I'm just going to change because I've got a choice of Wi-Fi's because we've got the original Wi-Fi plus boosters. So I'm going to go for the booster instead because I've changed rooms because it's very noisy downstairs. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, okay. Hopefully that's a better connection. Yeah, so you lead a very interesting life yourself, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I love this space.
I'm full of admiration.
Well, I'm pretty impressed. It seems like you got a lot going on in the real world, not just in Discord.
Yeah. Been quite busy here, but it's oh, it's a nice picture. Um, yeah, no, no. Yeah. So I've got a family. I've been a bit unwell recently, so I've had to take a bit of time off. But that's good because it's been thinking time. And thinking time's always good. And I've come back. I'm kind of nearly back to where I was, but I'm sort of getting there. So yeah, get in there. I love this emoji. I don't know what would we call this.
It's a virtual avatar.
Is it okay? Is it picking up your face as well?
Yeah, and the settings for the face recognition are a little sensitive, so she makes a lot of weird faces. Um,
Okay,
but
okay.
I got
Oh,
I
that's
got some
nice though.
adjustments to do. But yeah, it's tracking my face. It doesn't do like arms or hand tracking,
No,
just face tracking.
brilliant. Okay. Excuse me, I'm a bit croaky. Yeah. So okay. So let's kind of talk about. I mean, I love what you're doing with Bankless Africa. I mean, I really, I think what you're doing with Bankless Africa is and it's giving access to people. It's giving access to people to say, hang on a minute, this is actually quite important. Um, you know, I'm making contributions, you're making contributions. Let's think about those. Let's actually think about those and decide. What do we think about them? Do we like them? Do we not like them? What do we think? And then scoring them. So I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I really like Coordinate. It's it's not for everything, but it's super flexible. And, if people, I think the more like self-reporting that people do, um, the better people feel about, you know, giving give to people. And yeah, it's really good for like unplanned work, where that work's
Yeah.
going to be done on some things, but you're not sure who's going to do it, or you know if
Yeah.
it's interesting to everybody. It might be interesting to a few people, but not a bunch of people, and so it's kind of
Yeah.
a good like temperature check while you work.
Yeah. And kind of let the community decide, which I think is wonderful.
Yep. Yeah, and ultimately, right, from a tokenomics standpoint, you're
Yeah.
usually trying to distribute your token, broadly, right, to try to get,
Yeah.
the broader the distribution, ideally the more like, collaboration and participation you get. And so,
Sure.
you know coordinate can help an organization, flatten out the distribution of their token. And and in the world of tokens, everything's about tokenizing some kind of behavior, right? Whether it's,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, whether you're trying to get people to think about their carbon footprint, or
Yeah.
even if it's just paying with crypto or saving crypto so that you can save money. um, you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's just a matter of
Yeah.
finding
Yeah.
out what people will do for tokens and then what people want to do for tokens.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Um, can I sort of bring something else into the conversation, if that's okay? Um, I don't know if you're aware, Research Group, and I know you're part of Research Guild, and I know you're part of Research Guild, are have this discussion going on with DYDX, and part of that discussion is what do we want to put in front of them in terms of research about setting up and running. I'll call them working groups. We could also call them guilds. Um, and I think that's what DYDX are looking for. They're looking for quote unquote aggressive growth
Hmm.
in working group set up and function. And I think we've got bankers have got 27,000 people, so we more or less know what we're doing with this. But there are some aspects that we can bring in, and I'm kind of saying I'm loving what's going on with Coordinate, and that's a fantastic way to, I think, dynamize in group in an equitable, reasonably fair. I mean, you can sort of shoot for the stars and you might hit the moon, but it's pretty equitable. And I think it really does energize a working group, and therefore I think it's an important thing that we need to mention. And I'd kind of like to bring you in to the kind of framework I'm trying to put together. And I don't know what your availability is like, and what how up to capacity you are. But if you could just have a look, even, and say, okay, have you thought about such and such? Because I'm just one person. I've got one brain, one pair of hands. I'm limited in what I know. Um, but just to get some feedback from you, I think on that would be just superb. I'd be so pleased if that's possible.
Yeah, that's part of what the office hours are for. And I'm definitely uh, trying to make more of an effort to make office hours accessible and available to folks. So
Yeah,
happy to do some of that now. Um, I
sure. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
what
I
I
like
what I'd like to do.
DYDX.
Go on, go on, go
I
on.
like DYDX, but I can't use their platform because I'm a U.S. citizen. So I wasn't able to like check out their actual platform, but I did join their Discord.
Oh,
And
oh,
mhm.
okay. Thanks, that's important. I'll need to bear that in mind. But I mean, from our perspective, if you're kind of advising us from the wings, so to speak, I don't think that would hurt. So I don't know. I don't know that's something I need to look into more. Actually, you're having said that. So let me double check all of that, and let's try and find out
Well,
what
it's
that
like,
means.
yeah, it's like Binance, right? Like, so as a U.S. citizen, I can't use Binance, but like just about everybody I know from Africa can use Binance, right? So
Right.
I
Okay.
all I'm saying
Well, that
is,
gives us an angle.
yeah, all I'm saying is I was super interested in their project, checked out their product, and I can't use their product, but I'm super interested in, I do have access to their Discord, so I can
Okay.
contribute in, especially work group development. Um,
Yeah.
and the tricky thing is, it's tough to find out what people really want because they
Oh
say
yeah.
things like growth and engagement, but then they don't want to actually themselves spend time in their Discord making themselves available. They want somebody else to find the people to do growth and engagement. So, you know,
Yeah.
you just got to be careful. And when you're talking, when I talk with folks, I try to ascertain, like, do they have the talent already and they just need help, organizing that talent? Or are they also
Yeah.
wanting you to find the talent and design what the talent's going to do, and, motivate them, and then now
Yeah.
onboard them, right? And so it
Yeah.
becomes, it's same thing with like marketing projects. Like, everybody wants marketing and growth and engagement,
Yeah.
but they don't
Yeah.
already have, the talent, the people there to engage with people. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
just,
Well, I mean, I kind of get that people kind of want to put a, a lower level of effort in. Let's put it politely that way. And get a lot of return on the effort they're putting in. But I've already kind of said to them, look, guys, you're asking us to put a document together, but we've got no detail. When there's almost no detail, so that can't continue, and they're going to need to engage with us before we come up with a sort of a final proposal about what it is that we're going to do. So, I mean, that's kind of status quo at the moment, and I don't know where that's going to go. I've got no crystal ball. I found that out many years ago, making a large mistake
yeah.
accidentally, but
Well,
you learn from these things eventually.
yeah, and the Dilationships process is,
Yeah,
your first stage is always discovery, right? And so
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that involves meetings, questions, maybe it's async, maybe it's in person, definitely some of it
yeah,
should be in person. So,
yeah.
like I said, I have access to their Discord. Happy to, let me know if they already have meeting times that works in your schedule, and I'll start
Okay,
there. Um,
okay. Yeah,
you know,
no, that'd be amazing. Thank you.
yeah, to the extent that we can already like attend the meeting time frame they have, uh,
Yeah.
it's easier for me to like rearrange my schedule than
Okay.
to make
All right.
commitments usually.
Yeah, no, okay, no, that would be amazing. Because making meetings is something that I tend to struggle with because I'm in a different time zone and what have you. So, yeah, no, let's kind of if that's something that you are able to provide, that would be absolutely amazing. Thank you. And is it possible if I can move on to a slightly different subject?
Yep.
Because I checked out your bio, and you are saying things like you might be able to help people with funding platforms for Web 2 and Web 3. And you know that we've been talking about Felix in Burundi.
Yeah.
Um, and his phone now is totally broken. I tried talking to Bankless Africa about it, and basically Tony, forgotten his surname, but Tony said, no, no, he doesn't think that's something that we should be doing. So I've gone, okay, fine. But he did suggest a funding platform. but I think you've also maybe got, and I'm also aware of Mirror, so which I think is a Web3 funding
How
platform.
much
So,
do you have PayPal?
I don't have PayPal, no.
Okay. Um, how much does he need for a phone? Because I can probably send you the USDC if you can just figure out how to get him a phone. But I am super
We
interested
yeah,
in, you know, crowdfunding project. Like I can totally help with
sure,
that. There's
sure, no, yeah, that would be really great.
and Facebook, Facebook takes a lot of, the problem with Web2 platforms is that they generally
Mm,
take like 25% of your donations, but,
uh-huh.
you know, but 80% of the eyeballs is on YouTube, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but, and then with Web3, the problem is that you have to onboard your donors, not just
yeah, yeah,
convince them to actually donate.
yeah.
But to the
Okay,
extent that you're able, you know, Juicebox makes it really easy for Web3 stuff. Plus, it already puts
yeah,
you into, a community of people that are looking to give to projects. They just don't know
yeah,
how to give to somebody in Burundi, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and to the extent that, you have to help another group kind of manage their wallet or, how
yeah,
they get
yeah,
their
yeah,
digital funds and stuff, like,
yeah.
you still got to do all
Well,
that.
he says he's already got a digital wallet, which is fantastic. But obviously, if his phone's broken, he's going to struggle a bit with that. Can I can I ask if it's okay? I want to try. It would be fantastic to try to continue this discussion. I've I've got some stuff up on Bankless Africa's Commonwealth. Is that a better place to try to continue the discussion and flesh it out, as you were saying, in terms of crowdfunding, so that we can sort of make some progress on that? I don't know. What's the best place, do you think, to do that?
Good question. Um, it really comes down to, I definitely think, Bankless Africa is, essentially they have a notion, right? So
Yeah.
using their notion makes a lot of sense, and notions
Okay.
are public facing websites. You can actually
Yeah.
build your website for the project in Notion so that there's,
Yeah.
you know, no real,
Okay.
and then you got to use things like maybe URL shorteners, to make it
Uh-huh.
easier to like
Uh-huh.
share your website link. There's
Hmm.
ENS domains even. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I like it. I mean,
you really
I
want to
hadn't, I
get
hadn't.
contributors though
Sorry.
from a broad spectrum across the DAO. And
Okay.
if you're recruiting from the
Yeah.
forums, you're generally going to
Yeah.
find the people that have been in the DAO longer, right? Or they're at
Yeah.
least a little bit more interested, and they do obviously have a little extra time. Otherwise, they wouldn't
Yeah.
be in the forum reading. So it's
Yeah.
definitely, you should try to recruit from the DAO, but build your presence out of, Bankless Africa, because
Yeah.
that's what you want people to know, is like where.
Sorry, Ernest. Sorry, hang on a tick.
And hello, Anase, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well.
Yeah, we're just chatting about some of the projects innovators involved with and looking for help with.
Okay.
Do you want to have a quick a quick go because I've been hogging the. I mean, a chance to talk to Ernest is a bit like gold dust. So I've been taking every opportunity. But please do have a turn.
Yeah, if you have
All
any
right.
questions or if there's a specific, reason that you showed up, this is just a open office hour. Um, can be about the Research Guild or, anything else.
Yeah, it's about the Research Guild. I sent you some messages, but I don't think you've been able to read them. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so okay, later I got to know that by the time I got back, the coordinate round had already, that's the times allocate gives had already ended. So I sent you a message also, but I noticed something in the micro grants, okay, that you posted. The one I filled, I think there was a time I mistakenly created something for season 5.
Okay.
Okay, so the time I took notes was June 13th and not July 13th. So I don't want to get paid for something I didn't work for.
Oh, well,
So I just wanted to draw your attention to that.
Yeah, well, you probably weren't in. Was there an entry for you in June?
Yes, I was able to fill it. I was able to put for June.
Yeah, if we paid you out,
That's
if we, yeah, we haven't done payouts yet. We're waiting, I think, for the guild funding. We might, um, let me find the table. Well, thank you for, yeah, bringing this up.
okay.
We can also just make you take notes again and be no. Yeah, let me just check. So you said you actually took notes in season 4. Oh, gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, season 4.
Yeah, that was recorded. So then we're just gonna delete this one for
July.
season 5. And then we'll go to the budget and remove it from there. All right. Everything is. Let's see. I'm a little in and out. I'm back, maybe.
I can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you. Yeah.
All right. I got our documents updated. All right. Did you have any other questions, Anase, or?
No, I think that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Latsan. This is just a open office hour, and we were answering some questions from Innovator and Anase.
Yeah, good evening. I'm still new. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, good
Ernest,
evening.
I'd like to leave now. I need to attend something quickly.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping in, and thanks for
All right.
yeah helping me
Nice
with
to
this.
see you,
Thanks.
Anastasia.
Yeah,
Nice to
you
see you.
too. All
All
right.
right, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so good evening. I think I get honestly, good evening. So I think you are the one you were part of people with yesterday that I got on board. You like yes, so and I've been trying to go through how the Discord talk works. I've checked out, I've seen some stuff on legal guild, but I'm majorly focusing on marketing research guild, and I've explored the Notion page to an extent. So and then I think I filled two forms. I saw a Google form and I saw a Tally form. I think to that was just to collect my information so that I put my name on Notion as well. So I think that's what I've done so far. Mhm. So I'm still trying to figure out how it starts to work because I think I said there are three ways it work and support in the research field. I think one is bounce, and the second one I was saying that probably six, maybe 16 will join a group or six group. I don't understand that aspect. Like, how do I know what I'm going to do? And is it that there will be a list of tasks available, or I'll be like, I want to research. Maybe I have a personal stuff that I want to research on. Because I saw something like, if you don't know what to do research about, then just calm down and make sure you have to. So is it that I'll be given a task to do a research on, or I'll come across what I want to research myself? Because I'm actually working data analyst, so I actually do love to research about stuff that probably isn't people using in workplace.
Okay, so some of that was a little difficult for me to hear. I'm gonna try putting my headphones in. I don't know that my headphones jack works. Can you hear me okay still?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I'm on it actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a few problems hearing as well.
But what I heard was one that uh, you'd like to know a little bit more about how marketing Research Guild content works, and then I heard that with something you didn't know like what to research, like what to do, but I didn't catch if it was a question about a specific project that you were interested in, or if it was just like in general questions about like how research is done for the projects.
Yeah, like our research is done for a project, and for example, let's say you have something to that's on either like or the guild will sign that do research about something for me. Then how does the bounty work? Because I think I saw it from the and you for coordinate. So I don't understand how the coordinate will work. But something that promised and I want to do among the next coordinate. It should just be as far as much as possible to apply for some bounty then to be active on the day on the research field. before they will consider me for coordinator. So I didn't know what coordinating is. So I said, let's do this.
Sure. So, and it's kind of cutting in and out a little bit. But so in, the way fund, I'll start like real general first, but so like, the DAO creates the bank tokens, and every season they allocate some bank to each guild's multi-sig. And it's up to the members of the guild to suggest and propose and decide how to spend that money in the research guild. Now, in the research guild, we essentially we realize like people do research wherever they're at. They don't necessarily, all the research in the DAO isn't done in research guild. Most of it's done outside research guild. And so what we try to do in research guild is find ways to support research wherever it's done. And that can be done in a few different ways. Generally, there's another project in the DAO and they might need some research. And so they may have a budget for that research, or they may have forgotten to propose a budget for research, or and so we can suggest ways in the guild to support, you know, that research in some other project in the DAO. And it could actually be any, any project, any other guild. Um, we have a collaboration with Bankless Africa work stream. There's a work stream in Crypto Sapiens. Um, Bankless Consulting, there's a research work stream. There might be one in Academy that develops. And in Research Guild, essentially, we want to incentivize people to do research, but we also want to help people develop the skills they need to do research, to organize research, and to publish research, which gets into like some of the marketing kind of things. Um, and we have a unique incentive structure where most of our a lot of our guild administration is done through bounties. So if you facilitate meetings, if you note take for meetings, if you bring updates from other projects to the meetings, um, then we have bounties for you doing research work, either in the guild or in another guild or another project. When it comes to the Discord, because we have our own work category, and it's really just there's two types of projects in Research Guild. And the first one is just an interest group. And an interest group is, an unfunded group of people who want to do some research, and the research aligns with the DAO. There's other people in the DAO that are interested in this research. And we do have some small bounties for people who are doing the project planning in interest groups. And for people that join research groups, we also have bounties that people can claim. And once there's enough traction or interest in an interest group, we essentially want to, get that group some funding, help them do their, research, and move into an actual work group. And so the work groups are more formalized research projects or work streams, in our Discord channel that kind of take you to Bankless Consulting or the research work group in Bankless Africa. And, you know, we don't provide incentives for, you know, work groups, but we help them, you know, develop the proposals for the funding that they need, and then, you know, help that work group get established in the research guild. And so Coordinape, it's a tool that allows us to fund unplanned work. So as a guild, we say we have about 40 active members now in the guild at some level that are attending meetings or RSVPing to meetings and trying to learn about the guild and contribute. And so we're going to request from the DAO 4,000 bank per person per active member of the guild. And so 40 times 4,000 is what, 160,000 or whatever. And so over the course of 3 months, we'll distribute 160,000 bank to anybody that's, you know, contributing and figuring out how to work or how to do research or how to develop a project. And then once there's enough interest and there's a work group, you know, we can add to our budget and then, you know, allocate a budget for a specific deliverable that, you know, a work group wants to achieve. And ideally, you know, Analytics Guild used to do, you know, the research and the data analytics on the DAO and create, you know, products for other DAOs, you know, to do real data analytics, you know, for their own DAO. But Research Guild has always been more about research and trying to get into publishing of research that the DAO does, you know, and then, you know, that maybe also becomes kind of like client work stream as well. You know, there's a platform that comes in, they want research done, they can request this research. Some of it, you know, might be data analytics, some of it might be, you know, something else.
Yeah, let me comment on that. I noticed that the data analytics field is not that active for Bankless DAO, because I'm actually a data analyst. I'm saying what a data analyst. So then while analyzing, you have, of course, you need to do research. So that was why I feel okay, I should be in that field as well. So the the analytical field for Bankless has not been, there has not been much engagement there. Then thanks for the other explanation. So that means for the next month, we'll be able to apply for coordinator, right?
So can you ask that question again?
I said for next month, I think coordinate is usually there will be 4 coordinators.
Yeah, are you cutting in?
Yeah, so I'm now looking at that means you said there were 40 members in the coordinate. So I'm saying that will I be able to join the next coordinate?
Yes. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And so there's a DAO-wide coordinate, and then every guild has a guild coordinate. And guilds are talent pools. So, you know, if you're doing research or you're wanting to become a better researcher, and the minimum requirement for Coordinape is usually attending meetings or, um, you know, helping with the agendas, or, you know, at least, you know, discussing things that are on the agendas. You know, there's really like a lot of learning, you know, that new people do for 3 months, you know, before they're even, you know, before most people figure out how to do something, tangible, or like a whole project. Um, and each guild and the DAO essentially every 4 or 5 weeks has a coordinate. Each season is 13 weeks long, essentially. And so that's like a 4 week period, a 4 week period, and then a 5 week period. And if you're doing marketing or helping with marketing, you can pay attention to what goes on in the marketing guild and sign up for their coordinates. And the coordinate tool itself gives you, a space to tell others what you're working on. So if you're doing marketing or research for Bankless Africa or some other media node, you can, in the DAO coordinate, let folks know that you're a contributor in Bankless Africa, and, the whole DAO then has an opportunity to give you, some bank for your contributions to Bankless Africa, or, some other project. And yeah, definitely, we have some videos. Education Guild will be putting together a knowledge session about Coordinate. These office hours, regardless of what guild you're in, a lot of the guilds, or I think all the guilds have office hours at some time. And so you can go to any guild and ask questions about the DAO, as well as the guild. So things like Coordinate, or questions about Notions, questions about Discord. All these are tools that every guild uses, and is trying to help members understand. But yeah, we want people, right? We want people that want tokens.
Yeah, so these people, so what training, are there courses probably that can guide you on how to do proper research?
I didn't hear that.
Okay. Are there courses you can take on how to do proper research? Proper research. For example, let's say you still just want to know how to do proper standard research. Can there be courses in the DAO you can take that can help you on that?
I don't think we have anything like that yet. One of the things that we have in the Dalationships Guild is a kind of, a few Notion pages that kind of explain how to build relationships, but we don't currently in the Research Guild have any documentation to kind of guide people through doing research. A couple weeks ago, I created a channel, a thread for people that do want to learn how to do research. And I will tag you in this channel.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I have some resources, but this is one of the things that as a guild, right, we should start doing is teaching people how to do some basic types of research. At one time, we had several folks that had like professional experience in creating surveys, and getting data. And in the Writers Guild, they have a client work or they did at one time, something maybe we need to ask the Writers Guild about. But oftentimes, like if another platform wants research, they'll come to the DAO. It's a media DAO, and they're like, okay, we want a report, on our token or the latest updates on our blockchain. And then Writers Guild says, okay, it'll cost this much for a report because it's this many, this much bank per word or this much USDC per word. And then and then the writers go and do research. Some of it is writing, is a lot of writing, but you know, they also, that's one of the places where, the Research Guild, we can find members that are also in the Writers Guild to help start building that structure. Because, you know, if you have the specifications for your research report, right? So you could do like, token analysis reports, you can do on-chain reports, with on-chain data, you could do sentiment analysis from, different sets of data. So there's lots of,
So,
you
so I
know,
feel as a youth, we should be able to have probably a workshop that can do that. Probably just it might not be a probably intense training, probably just a training that will give you the overview. For example, probably you need to do from this step to this step. If you're training someone to be a researcher in 2 hours, that means you're just giving the person an overview of how it that goes. I know that probably you're training them for weeks. But if you want to do standard training for research, you need to take probably few weeks before you can teach again. So probably can we have every session that will just give us an overview of how standard research works? Like probably if you are researching on on-chain data, probably when you're using SQL to query the blockchain data or you're doing off-chain data, just an overview of it. Thank you.
oh, hello. um, yeah, I'm trying to switch to my phone because I have, um, having a lot of problems hearing. And I have some background noise. Mic check. Can you still hear me okay? Hello? Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Can you hear me? Let me try. Mic. Hello. Mic check. Mic check. I can hear you now. Uh, no, that's okay. My network goes in and out too. I know. It's Yeah. Yeah, I didn't catch your last questions. It does sound like you have great questions for the guild chat. And yeah, it would be one of the things that the Analytics Guild is going through is that they might join with the Dev Guild and kind of merge. And so any questions about, specifically data analytics or data research or how it's done or how to best develop it, like that may be a good place to ask questions. But I'd definitely like to see your questions if you could type them out in the general chat. But there is a grants committee meeting that just started. So I do have to close out this office hour. But yeah, super. Yeah, thanks for your questions. Yeah.
A discussion item about this a little bit below. One of the things that I don't know if this happened, and we don't have Kuros with us, so I'll have to follow up with him, is did we disperse the Global ETH event second tranche funding? Actually, Jagged Jojo, you might know this as the project champion. Did that happen? Did the second disbursement for Global ETH events happen? Okay, thanks. In the meantime, I did want to call your attention to two things in the next up category. One of them is to write the transaction for seasonal guild and project funding. So basically, now that we have our guild and project funding proposal up on Snapshot, it's